Happy Tuesday, 8th grade. Let's take a couple of minutes and review today's lesson. Today's lesson will be in two parts. It's entitled, Let 'em Play God. You'll remember from yesterday's assignment, we're talking about Unit 1's theme, suspense. And one of the greatest suspense writers of all time is a man by the name of Alfred Hitchcock. And today, we're going to take a look at a phrase that refers to Alfred Hitchcock's work, and that's let 'em play God. I've divided this into two parts. The first part, we're going to do a real short read and be able to respond to a question concerning that short read. And then in the second part that I'll show you in just a couple of minutes, gives us an opportunity to take a look at a theme, a central idea that's found inside of this account, Let 'em Play God. Our first part is divided into four sections. You can see those tabs across the top of the page. In the introduction, you have an audio component which allows you to click this tab and it will read for you the introduction. And then below that, you have the short video which describes the account Let 'em Play God. You remember when you click on that tab, you have the ability to select closed captioning if you want the words to go along with it. If you wanted to see the words, you could click the transcript and it would show you the transcript of the words of the video. And then if you wanted to go into full screen, you could go into full screen by pressing those two arrows. And you can get out of full screen by reversing that process. Section 1 is the introduction. Section 2 is a vocabulary section. There are a couple of things that you are going to be doing in this section, and be reminded that you can do these in any order. If you want to try and do them now, you can do them now, or you can come back and do it later after you've had a chance to see these words that are being used inside of the text. Drop and drag. If you want to change an answer, simply click it out. And then again, as you're going through this now or after you read the short account and are introduced inside of the context of these vocabulary words, you will type your own sample sentence in this section. So you have two things that you're going to be doing in number 2. Number 1 is to drag and to drop into the definition, and the second part that you're going to do is writing your own sample sentence. On the bottom of the page, it says save and continue. But remember, you can go to the next section and go back and finish with your answers still being there. So you have an option of either going to go to save and continue or to manually click it across the top. Section 3 is the short reading. Once again, there are two parts. You have the summary, and then you have the section with the excerpt, Let 'em Play God. Remember yesterday we were talking about how we have a new feature which permits us to annotate the text and how it can be divided into sections. Again, I'm not requiring you to do any of that, but you can certainly play around with that, maybe especially as you get to the vocabulary words, just to see how it's possible to annotate the text using those new tools. Again, the audio is available as well as numbering. Numbering is helpful so that you can go back and easily find a specific section, especially if there is a question concerning that. Part 1, section number 4, we're simply going to be responding to this phrase, the title of the reading, Let 'em Play God. It's called a metaphor. It's a figure of speech. So after you get through reading, listening to that section, and have had an opportunity to think about it a little bit, respond to this question concerning Let 'em Play God. So part 1 is divided into 4 sections: the introduction, the vocabulary, the read, and the write. Remember, after that you've put your response in, it's important to click submit. Now, I noticed yesterday that some of you didn't click submit. You might want to go back and check that. I noticed that some of the assignments on my end said unsubmitted, and when I opened up your account, I noticed that you'd completed, but you hadn't clicked submit. So go back and check. If you did click submit, your assignment probably already has been read, and I gave a response to you, and you can find that graded on your StudySync page. So this is section number 1. And then we also have part 2. I divided this into 2 parts so that it might be easier for you to read as you go across the page. You wouldn't have so many tabs. Once again, we have a definition, and the definition that we're going to be talking about in the second part is, what does it really mean to be having a specific point of view, a purpose? And there's a little short video that goes along with this section defining. Click on this tab so that you can view the video concerning this skill on an author's purpose for writing an informational text like Let 'em Play God. The second section is another short video clip which explains the strategies that the author might use. And again, there are some bullet points that go along with this video, and then an explanation to this section in your text that talks about letting them play God. The third section of part 2 is an opportunity for you to read 2 paragraphs and respond to 2 multiple choice questions. And again, when you finish that, at the bottom right hand side of the page, you're going to notice the opportunity to submit. Again, you cannot submit until you complete the answers that are found on the page. So our assignment is to go through Let 'em Play God part 1 and Let 'em Play God part 2. When you finish part 1, click submit at the bottom right hand side of the last tab. When you finish Let 'em Play God part 2, look to the submit button on the bottom right hand section. If you have any questions, if you don't understand how it is that you are supposed to access any of the material on any one of the tabs, or you don't understand exactly what it is that you're supposed to do, please reach out, contact me, and I'll help you through it. Have a great Tuesday.